Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Singh and in this video we shall discuss the feature news for today, that is 9th of May 2022. Today's feature news is on civil registration system, hotly being debated, the data here being present. Mabani, Amlan, Ashish, Kim, everybody, good evening to all of you. Let's begin this discussion. Civil registration system is a system of registration of births, deaths and stillbirths. All the births that have happened in the nation and all the deaths that have happened in the nation of the nationals should be registered. Even when the person has been born in India or abroad, they can be registered. The system is such that within 21 days of birth and within 21 days of death, both the entities must be registered with the authorities. There are 3 lakh such institutions present across the whole country, and they have a digitized format in which certificates are issued for every birth, every death, and all of them are linked to a central database which is under the Registrar General of India. This institution, Civil Registration Systems institution, is under Ministry of Home. So important thing, not under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, but under Ministry of Home. This system was formulated way back under Britishers, where in 1886, Central Birth, Death and Marriage Registration Act, all of these were to be registered under this particular act. After independence, the marriage registration got changed with the marriage registrar, and then this system got introduced for civil registrations, of birth, death and stillbirths. Now, this is where a quick question to each of you. What is the difference between, what is the meaning of stillbirth? That's it. All right. Now, this important piece of information that is conveyed through civil registration system, this is passed on to the individuals with the help of 1 year report, every year report. And this report has come up lately for the last year. So let's understand what this report specifically mentions about the birth and death. See, birth is not much of conflict because births are happening and there has been a decline in the birth rate in the country. So all set and good. But regarding the death rate, there has been a lot of controversy because of what WHO says, what the Lancet reports and the important journals and publications are speaking of, and how government is speaking of through this report. So let us understand both of it. Stillbirth, anybody? What is stillbirth? All right, births. So in the country, registered births have dipped from 24.8 million to 24.2 million. And wonder if a pre-exam question asks if there has been an increase in the registered births or not. So you must know the answer. It has actually declined, not very much, but it has declined by 0.6 of million. That is 6 lakh. 6 lakh registered births have decreased. And the total number of registered births in the country are around 75. See, there is a formula through which the government says one must register the births and deaths. 21 days is the time given to everybody. Registration of birth and death is a matter of right. Registration of birth and death is also a matter of duty. The person whose child is getting registered, whose child is getting born, they must have a duty to register, inform the authorities and get them registered. Similarly, when it is for the death, the authorities again have a duty. So every crematorian, every time a cremation happens, an official does pay a visit to the cremation ground as well to register the deaths. These have become important not only to initiate projects to understand what is the proportion of population, people at different age categories, but also to pass on various kinds of benefits. Simple as transferring of property or the bank account, all these details have to be passed on. Government claims that of all the deaths registered, there are more than 85% of registrations of deaths happening in the country. Of all the deaths happening in the country, more than 85%, more than this number, quite more than this number is getting registered. Government also maintains a database through which it says that since we have been mandated, every state is mandated to have birth and death registered within 21 days. So this is good. But if you don't do this, we will also have that data of that. So 21 to 30 days, if you are registering, it's still fine. But after 30 days, if you want to register up to 1 year, one will have to get permission from the concerned authority and also get a letter for permission. Along with that, if it is post 1 year, then the magistrate only will be assigned. See, if it is 1 year of the birth and you're registering right after that, then a special permission from the magistrate who you are aiming at becoming, they will be permitting. So one is mandated to register deaths and births within 21 days, and states are also designated accordingly. Now a quick look at some data about this. See, when we are looking at registration of birth, then will we not be able to understand the sex ratio in the country? Sex ratio at birth? Yes, we will be. So sex ratio at birth, there is some kind of biological bias because of which the sex ratio at birth is against the females, but once they are born, they're sturdy enough. Their longevity is more than the male counterparts. So if you look at the top states or union territories which have the high sex ratio at birth, they are Ladakh at first position, Arunachal Pradesh, Andaman Nicobar, Tripura and Kerala. So starting with Ladakh, but then the state with highest number of births, female sex ratio is Arunachal Pradesh. It is not Ladakh. Ladakh is a union territory. And the bottom 5 states are Manipur at the lowest, and then Dadra Nagar Haveli, Gujarat, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. So this is an important update, possible for you to look at. If you are from any of these states, you can definitely point at the progress or institutional births, right? Institutional births also count here, right? So this is one thing that you should look at. Along with that, some important facts about the death also. In controversies, the number of deaths which have been registered in the country are 81 lakh. 8 million, 8.2 million, all right, 8.2 million, 82 lakh. Last year, they were 75 lakh. And a year before that, they were 69 lakhs. So, have we had increased deaths? Yes, we have had increased deaths. But this was 2018, this is 2019, and this is recorded in 2020. So, when the increase in 7 lakh happened, 6 to 7 lakh of deaths happened pre-COVID, what was the reason? The government says it was because we were in the process of having more registrations of death. Earlier deaths were happening, but they were not getting registered. So more registrations are happening. That is why you see increase in number. So that way government counters this argument also, that the increase of 5 lakh deaths in the last year, that happened only because of increased number of registrations. This is one thing. And also increasing population will lead to more deaths. That's what it said. That is true, that because of more longevity, lesser people are dying. That is absolutely true. Per 1,000 people, fewer people are dying. That's true. But then this is how it counters, saying that COVID data, excess death is not there. Now, on the other hand, see, there are ways in which COVID death has been calculated. One way of calculating COVID death is excess death is directly knowing if the person had COVID before dying or not. That's what government has been doing. Government has been calculating the excess death with the help of either civil registration system or with the help of the doctor and doctor's report which says that the person had COVID, because of which the first year of COVID, they said the number of deaths have been around 1.5 lakh. The second year, they say the number of deaths is 3.3 lakhs. This amounts to 5.8 lakhs. 5.2 lakhs, around that much. All right, this is what the government says. On the other hand, WHO says that the number of deaths is at least 8 to 10 times of this 45 lakh. This is what WHO says, 45 lakh deaths in India in the last 2 years. Now, on one hand, when the government of India pats its back saying that we have had lesser number of deaths, far lesser than the developed countries per million population, WHO presents figure in which 1/3 of the whole death around the whole world attributes to Indian deaths. This is a point of shame for the government. Government possibly, from one perspective, it seems as government is hiding some data. On the other hand, we understand that government has a robust system, civil registration system. And when we look at Kerala data, which is the most prosperous state health-wise, we also see that the numbers are comparable to the global death rate. However, they will still be not as high as what is being estimated by WHO. So numbers could be somewhere in between. What is more important to understand is that possibly 80 to 100% of the beds were kept for COVID patients, and because of this, people who the excess death that happened, that could have happened because people were not even given treatment at hospital facilities. And this is a new record sort of data, where proportion of deaths in absence of medical attention, that increased in the country to more than 40%. Now, this is something that has not been seen previously. The proportion of death in absence of medical attention that increased in the country, and also the proportion of death In institutional care, it declined. Is it not natural? If one is getting care, the death will decline. So it declined from 40% to around 30%. But people who did not receive any care, their proportion and they died, that increased. And during COVID times, it did increase. All right. So this is another fact here. Now, one more thing, all the deaths recorded, 60% of people who died were males. So save your lives, all the male people here, right? Okay, what else? Have a look at this map. This map is sex ratio at the birth. Sex ratio at birth, if it is in green light, the ratio is 950 and above. So 950 and above, atop in the northeast, largely one state in the south, Kerala, Bihar, West Bengal and Rajasthan. That's what it is. More than 950 births of females per 1000 birth of the males. Rest of the other places that you see in yellow, the numbers are less than 950 female births per 1000 male births. The state with gray, that means no data is present for that particular state. And quickly sharing with you some excerpts of this report, so that in case some a question comes in the pre-exam, you are able to quickly understand it. So based on the information of the share of institutional births to total registered births is 74%. That means all the births that have been registered, they could have happened with partial medical care, no medical care or complete medical care. So institutional births is 74%. Institutional birth is 74%, which is a good thing, because if in institutional care one is receiving birth, that means the mother will be having better care facilities, the maternal mortality will be low, and the child care will also be high. So this is a good thing. 74% of births in institutional care, whether in private or public, that's a different thing. The second one is the number of registered births have decreased. Okay, so they have decreased to 24 million right now from almost 25 million. Okay, the share of registered birth in that male proportion is higher than female proportion. Okay, then prescribed time and all that I mentioned, 21 days, the states which did it, their names have been mentioned, which we don't have to remember at all. Okay, moving ahead, highest sex ratio was recorded at Ladakh and then Arunachal Pradesh. So highest is 1104 females for 1000 males. In Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh, 1011 females for 1000 boys. Lowest has been recorded by the state of Manipur, 880. Okay, stillbirth registrations. Okay, great. Stillbirth after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Okay, great. So when you look at the stillbirths in the country, the number of registered stillbirths has decreased from 1.66 lakhs to 1.6 lakh. All right. This is the update. And the registered stillbirths in rural areas are lesser than urban areas because registration is high. For the death, there has been a conflict. I've discussed the whole conflict here. The conflict is about the 81 lakh numbers that are being attributed by the government. And yes, based on the total information, 60% males have died and 40% females have died. All right, this is the update from the report. Now, showing some content from today's Gazette itself. Yes. So this system is accorded under Ministry of Home, Registration of Birth and Death Act 1969. Registrar General of India, the one, Census Commissioner and Registrar General of India, the same individual is the one who looks at the census and this birth and death numbers in the country as well. Okay, so birth and deaths are registered only at the place of their occurrence. If happening outside the country, the person returning back within 2 months, they can get it registered in the country. All right, so 21 days, that is the formula. After that, 1 month is still possible, up to 1 year also possible, greater than 1 year also possible, but with two different conditions in both the cases. All right, so this chart says sex-wise distribution of registered births. Registered births, more were male and less were females. Okay, sex-wise distribution of registered births. So that's it. 1.5 lakh, 3.3 lakh, Deaths because of COVID, that's the number in conflict. I have declared, I've discussed two editorials on this, and very important. One's explaining the part of WHO and Lancet, and the other explaining the part of civil registration system and how the government is measuring the data. You must look at both these sides of the debate. They were a part of the Indian Express newspaper, and both of them important editorials speaking about the opposing sides and what is the criteria, what is the algorithm that they have used to be able to come to their conclusions, right? Excess death is the excess death. That means those deaths which could not be extrapolated. They were more than what was estimated, and those are the excess death. Difference between the death registered in a given period and the death registered in a similar period in the normal year, right? In normal year, extrapolation is done, and excess deaths are those deaths which are caused because of some other exigency. It could be COVID complications, or anything that is related to, associated with the pandemic or lockdown as well. All of it will be coming under this, but they would count under excess death because of COVID itself. WHO says there were at least 6.9 times what has been officially attributed by the government. It has also accused the Indian government to asking them to hide the data. They say that India accounted for over 31% of excess death of the whole world. So India would top the list. In case this data is correct, India would top the list of the total number of deaths in the whole world. It is attributed to around 1.2 crores. Out of that, 30% in India, and after that would come Russia, around 10 lakh deaths. All right, so this is the update from here. Now, government says India's death reporting has improved over the years from 79% to 92%, and the government claims that 99.95% of all the deaths were recorded in 2020. So that is the conflict. And they also say that the methodology opted by WHO is false. They are using the data from the developed world and extrapolating it to India. But then WHO claims that they have not done this. They have only used Indian data of the people who have been asking for claims, 50,000 rupees per death. Data from the states have been taken. Data from the ground level reporting has been taken. That is the update here. All right. Let me look at the questions here. In Manipur, the girl childbirth rate is low. You saw that. Yes. Male have poor immune system as compared to females. What is the reason for male dying earlier than females? Do you guys smoke? Do you guys drink more than the females do? Whatever it be. I'm just casually speaking this. Will I have to cut this part? Okay. Pakistan also rejecting the WHO data. Pakistan and Bangladesh are facing lesser rejection than India is facing. That word is not suitable for me. Okay. Okay, all right. So this is how we come to the conclusion of this discussion. In case you have got questions, please put it down. But I would certainly, I'll put this down in the comment section. The two debates providing two different sides of the story. Through that, you will be able to understand what is the WHO way of estimation and what is the government way of estimation of this data. And a question was put down. Sampan project of insurance of pensions. It is the full form of Sampan is System for Accounting and Management of Pensions. Sampan, simple system of accounting and management of pension. And this system has been laid down by the Prime Minister for the Department of Telecommunication pensioners. So many of those pensioners of that specific department of Telecommunication, they will be given pension through automated system called as Sampan. That's what Sampan is about. And the national pension scheme that we are speaking of, this is for the whole of the country. Okay. Although national pension scheme also has to be delivering the project in online mode itself, right? Direct benefit transfer. So if you like this initiative, share some love, likes, comments and shares, and you got questions, you got some assertions to make, please put it down in the comment section and we will ensure to get back to you. Thank you everybody for being a participant. Kim, Amlan, Ashish, everybody else, thank you for participation. I will see you all tomorrow. Keep preparing well for the examination, and questions, doubts, anything related to the exam, please share the questions here. Thank you for participation.